The new Undead Unlock set for Union Arena is finally here, and I have a new deck profile. Let's get started. Hey guys, what's up? Mommy TCG here. So this is a purple Undead Unluck. There is a red one on the way, and recently a 100 Girlfriends I really love or something like that just came out too, so I'll be having some decks for that. Make sure to like and subscribe for daily duels and deck profiles for One Piece, Union Arena, and Dragon Ball Super Fusion World. Alright, so here it is. We're going to talk about every single card, how the deck plays, and if it's a good deck in general. So first impressions, I think this is a pretty basic average deck. The thing with Union Arena is that almost every deck is viable because they all play the same way for the most part. There's a little bit of differences here and there, but they're pretty cool. So let's get started. These are the action points that I have to go along with this deck. This is an Andy and Izumo deck, so this is Izumo. So we're going to start from 0 cost all the way to, I think a 5 is the highest in here. So this is Billy. This is our 0 cost. So this is an under archetype, which is part of this deck. Your turn, if there are 2 or more under characters on your front line, this character gets 1500. So this works in the energy line and the front line. This is a pretty good card because this is going to be used just for a little bit, and then you're going to be moving it up for attacking. Billy doesn't have any raid in this deck, in this specific deck, and the active is always good. The trigger to give somebody 3000 up them is really good. So we're running 4 Billies. Next up, we have some Juizes. So this one is pretty basic as well. It doesn't have any raid, but it's another pretty good attacker if you need to move them up. An active character gives 3000, pretty good as well. So we have 4 good 0 costs that already give you plus active. So here's Andy. This is one of the raid potentials in this deck. So 0, 1 action, and the trigger is add this to your hand, which is, you know, you kind of need the add to your hand if you're playing any sort of raid focus deck. Alright, so those are the 0 costs. Now we'll move on to the 1. This is the first Izumo. So there is a Andy raid card and an Izumo raid card. So you can see you're going to be seeing a lot of those 2 cards in here. So Izumo Fuko, 1 cost. On play, top 3, you grab 1 trait union and add it to your hand. If you did, then you have to remove 1 to your outside. So it's a pretty good searcher. So just get anything you need at that specific time. Pretty decent stuff. No trigger. Next up, we have Andy as our first Andy as well. 2, 1. Main, when in front line once per turn, can only be activated if there is a face down card under this character. So remember, if you raid, the card under is face up, so this doesn't work. You have to have other means to add it to under face down. But if you do, you can choose 1 character on your opponent's front line and it gets negative 1000. Now, you aren't usually KOing with this negative 1000 BP unless you combo with other negative stuff. But it is good if your character has like a 4000 guy or something like that. You can lower it down and maybe get to their life, and you always love to see this active. I think in this specific deck I have around 10 or so of these, probably more. Yeah, definitely more. Okay, next we have another Izumo card. This is our color for the deck, so we're running 4 of these. 3, 1 Union, 2 Energy. On play, you get to choose 1 of these effects. Draw 1 and trash 1 for sifting. Then you choose 1 victor in raid state in your area, and then you place the top card to the outside area. If you did, choose 1 of your AP cards and set it to active. So in this deck, Andy raids into victors, and then you can use the effect of that victor, and if you really need the extra AP, you could use this character as well. To remove it, it will still be active, and then you lose the effect, so the Andy will still be there, but then you get another AP. So the color is you play a purple character with 2 or less in the front line is active, so there's a lot of cards available for that. So it's a pretty decent card, a little versatile that way. Next up, it's a Juiz. It's another Juiz. Remember, we had that 0 cost one. So this is a 3-1, and on play, look at the top 2, place any number to the on the top and then to the bottom of the deck. So it's pretty good. So it's good for sifting, and it's primarily here for a little bit of attacking and +2 energy. This deck, if you have anything that is a you know, +4 energy required, you're gonna need a bunch of cards that give you you know, that give you the energy. So we're running 2 in here. Next up, we have My Cool Heroes. This is the 4 finals for the deck. Choose up to 2 of your APs and refresh them. Then, if you have no life, if this triggers, you go ahead and heal 1. So there you go. My Cool Heroes. Next up, we have a strong Andy. Now, everything from here on out is going to be your late game stuff. All right, so Andy. Main, when in frontline, it costs 4 by the way, once per turn, can only be activated if there's a face down under this and this character is active. So you usually won't be able to play this on your first turn. However, you can if you throw out an Andy, you put raid on him with Victor, then you go ahead and use an Izumo to take him out, and then when that Victor is removed, it goes under the Andy, and then you get to use it. So that's the only way that you can use this on turn 1. Other than that, it's a pretty good card because it's very powerful for 4. It has the ability, and you get to draw a card if you trigger. So this is a super solid 4 cost. Now, this is a regular Victor, not the raid Victor. 4, but it's just 2 action points. It's 2 action points for a good reason. It's 4,000, triggers added to your hand. And when this character is placed to the outside area, they can go under an Andy. So if it gets KO'd or something like that, and then there you go. Let's see, on play, choose one of the following effects. You can set it to active so you can attack the turn it comes out, or you can choose a character on the opponent's front line to get negative 1,000, not that relevant, or you can look at all the face down cards under every single one of your characters and grab one to your hand. Very situational. Probably the best thing you do 90% of the time is you set it to active so you can attack that turn. Being able to throw this out right away and get that value, because it is 2 action points. It's very expensive, but it's a good card. Now we have our first raid here, Izumo, 3,500, 4 actions. Raiding only on Izumo, your turn. If you have 3 or more Union Arena cards, this character is 5,000, which is going to happen a lot. So definitely there will be 4,000 to attack. Then when you on play, you draw 1 card. You got to choose one of your Andy cards. Remember, we have this Andy. We have the other Andys. But basically, you get to place, with no face down, you place 1 card from the top of your deck under it so you can enable it to do some stuff. Then main, frontline, once per turn, choose 1 character on your opponent, it gets negative 1,000. So, as you see, it's pretty good, but it's really hard to activate all of the BP negative in 1 turn. I don't think, like, it's going to be pretty hard to KO anyone with that, but it's good to just get around blockers. And it has the trigger raid if you can, so pretty good. So there you go, Izumo. Next up, we have the Dead Blade. These are our specials for the deck. 4 cost, choose 1 character, 3,000 and kill it. If you have an Andy or Victor, 5,000 instead. And the special is just destroy somebody, which is the staple for any one of these special cards. Okay, now, check this out. This is the final card of the deck. This is Victor Raid. So you can already see this is a pretty low-cost deck with Victor being a little high up, which is why we have just a slight amount of extra energy so we can get this guy out. Because he has a trigger, he has a raid trigger, so you want to be able to use it when you can. But anyway, has a pretty cool ability. When this character is placed from your area to the outside, so pretty much when this character gets KO'd, etc., or when it's removed from the Izumo, it could be removed from Izumo, then you get to place it underneath an Andy instead. So I believe, because this guy raids on top of an Andy, if this gets removed, it probably goes onto the Andy you have already, and then you can use the effects. So, on play, choose up to 1 character on your opponent's front line. It gets negative 3,000, which can KO a good amount of stuff. And yeah, you can probably combo with something. If there is a face down underneath this card, activate the following effect. So pretty much, this is crazy. Like, this is really tough to get off, but you have to have a card underneath an Andy before you put it underneath a Victor, because there's no way to put cards underneath a Victor. You have to have an Andy set up, you have to put it underneath the Andy with another card, then Victor has to raid on top, and then you can finally use this ability. Maybe in a future set, you'll be able to put stuff under Victors, but that's just how you can activate it right now. But if you are able to, his character gains impact, which is great. Oh, actually, I read this wrong. Sorry, I was thinking of another card. Yeah. See, okay, see, look at this. If there, no, this is correct. If there is a face down, activate the following. No. Okay, exactly what I said is correct. But if you are able to use the effect, then you trash the card underneath your effect to gain impact. Okay, so I was right. But anyway, that's the deck. It's a pretty nice and simple one. The thing I like about Union Arena is a lot of the decks are really easy to make. There's just slight variance with the way it plays. And honestly, different purple decks kind of are doing the same thing, which is putting stuff underneath. But I don't know, like, it's not that clear like in like One Piece or Dragon Ball. Like, oh, blue's good at hand size and removal, red is rush down, and like in Union Arena, I've made so many decks already, but it's like from a glance, you can't really tell like what is the sort of theme of the deck. But every card in this, I mean, every archetype that I've seen so far is pretty viable. So there you go. It's a pretty interesting deck. And yeah, we're going to be coming up with the other color. I believe it's red, and then also the 100 Girlfriends Who Really Love You just came out. So we'll be doing a yellow and green deck for that. But anyways, hope you guys enjoy the Undead Unluck deck profile. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.